Hi, I'm Angela Tran, and I'm here for another update of my CEO journey, Chief Everything Officer. So I am kickstarting. Well, I kickstarted last in my last sprint in Sprint Zero, but this is my Sprint One. I started working on my second project called Project Simplify. So today I'll share my current status, the accomplishments that I achieved, and any next steps. So feel free to watch my other episodes if you're wondering what this format is. This is the Agile Sprint process that I'm working to build my business. So my second project, so the first one was for me to get into my grand opening on July 31st. And now I'm working on the second phase, which is learning how to market, clarifying my product, and then developing my second one. So I'm planning on 6 2-week sprints, and I am currently in my first sprint or about to complete it. I actually changed up this slide. Usually I thought it'd be fun to visually see it in a calendar mode. So again, in my 2-week sprint, I start on a Thursday and I end on a Wednesday. So today in green is the final demo where I share what I've accomplished. And then tomorrow, if there's anything going live, I would release it tomorrow. Typically also followed up with a newsletter edition as well. So in this first sprint, what I wanted to work on is first business cards. As I was setting up my business, I did not realize that business cards, just because I haven't used it in quite a few years and I've been in a remote role, are much still desired, whether it's digitally or in a physical format. When I'm going out and networking, people do ask for that. So that is something I worked on. I did do a physical version as well as a digital version, which I'll share in my demo. And then the second one is I'm starting to develop my second product, which I plan on doing what is called a mini course. So I laid out the lesson plan. And then what I didn't get to finish is the coaching marketing plan, as I'm still trying to understand that and how to do that. I think that is just one of my bigger challenges, just because in my prior corporate roles, I don't do much of, I would say, the marketing, like hands-on, the overseeing of that. But regardless, I'll share the progress that I've made. So first off, my business cards. This is on the right-hand side. I learned of an app called Blink, BLINQ. So that is great for digital business cards that I've learned. Actually, a friend referred me to it. So I quickly was able to create one. In fact, you can create it creates a nice QR code and you can kind of scan it, and that creates a digital version. But I also made the physical version just because I went to a couple of networking events and realized that people still like the kind of the hand physical of a card. I would say personally, I don't know what to do with this. I'm much more of a digitalize my life type of person. So, but regardless, I did create one really quickly just for networking events, in-person events, and that looks like this. The easy part I would say is just that I already had my branding and my colors, so it made it easy to design and put it on. One mistake that I made when I was making it, I was trying to make it the day of, and apparently Office Depot, if you did not know, is able to do it the same day if you ordered for 2 p.m. So I had everything set up. I was reviewing it. I even asked my husband to look over it, and I pressed the back button and I lost the entire thing. So then I'm quickly trying to remember what I did to redo it really quickly, because I'm trying to get the order in by 2 p.m. And I would say I'm missing, I think I wanted to put career coach and founder, so I'm missing a couple of pieces in there. But anyways, I did get it in, and I did get it the same day. So this is how it looks like. I think I think as I use up more of these, I will go back and design a different one and in a different site, not the same day. Because Office Depot, if you feel it, they are kind of printed, and some of the nicer business cards are more textured. And I think I would want to get one of those. So those are my business cards. And then I am going to demo my first mini course lesson plan just to show what it's going to be on, just to give a preview. So in the end of this course, what I'm planning is to help people, and I'll give templates and everything in addition to how to fill them out is how to translate your idea into project goals and objectives. I find that when I'm working with people, either in the corporate world, even in the entrepreneurial state, I think this is just step one is key. How do you put pen to paper? How do you put your ideas down so that you know what you're trying to achieve? And doesn't mean you can have a long-term plan, you have a short-term plan, but this is really just kind of looking forward in the next 2-3 months. So because that's the clearest you're able to achieve, and put that down, and so that you can kind of get the ball rolling. A second objective is to define a schedule of delivery for your project. So you'll see kind of I use the same format. I'm actually going to translate what I'm doing into a lesson plan, including any templates that I have, so that whoever purchased the course, you'll have everything to get started. And that is the second thing I think is very key, is defining a schedule of delivery so that you can keep yourself moving, right? Keep yourself going. It's easy most of the time for us in corporate, even if you're in even when we're in school, most schedules are defined for us, right? Either my boss or my manager is telling me, hey, Angela, this is due and this date. I want it done by the end of day. I want it done by the end of month and a quarter. Most of the time it is defined for you. But as you move up in your corporate career, you get to define that. So I have a system that I use to make sure that I create a good plan for myself and my team to deliver on time, at least deliver the ultimate goal. And then last but not least is to create a process of consistent delivery. The other thing I see, especially now out of the corporate world, is how do you set markers for yourself? How do you set milestones? How do you make sure you're accountable and say, hey, I want to build this lesson plan. I want to build this mini course. How am I going to get there? So making sure you build accountability. And the format that I'm going to translate down is something that I've used across my career and at different companies. So just to give some real life examples, I'm using the same framework in my personal business as well as when I was doing software development. When I was building an analytics platform, I still use Agile pretty much with the same framework and ingredients. It may look a little differently because of themes, colors, and everything, but the framework remains the same. So I've used this in report development as well. Not only that, but also when I was building a new team or a function. So when I was a head of data and analytics, I use an agile process to transition the teams over to a different mindset, step by step, and kind of incrementally without doing a big bang, so that we can adapt, right? People need time to change. People need time to accept the change, in fact. And then I also use this in implementing any policies, procedures. So it's a really powerful framework. I've boiled it down pretty much into 3 steps and into 3 templates that I will be developing for this. So the first one, as I spoke about, is to define how do you translate an idea into objectives, into measurable objectives specifically, so that you know you've accomplished what you've intended to accomplish or want to accomplish. Step 2 in module 2 is how do you build a plan? How do you create a system of delivery, right? You'll see that I'm using a 2-week sprint plan. I'll actually create that. That will be part of the package to fill out this sprint plan so that you know, hey, this is what this is what I'm gonna achieve. This is what my team's gonna achieve. Not that it is set in stone. Also talk about how you become agile with that as well. And then last but not least, it's great to have a plan and everything written down, but the hardest stuff sometimes is just doing it, right? So how do you create a system of accountability for yourself? Most of the time in the corporate world, you will have a manager, you will have a boss, so they will hold you accountable. But sometimes as I find as I move up in my career, they are going to look for higher markers, right? They're not going to look for, hey, Angela, did you do this sprint plan or did you develop this report? They're looking for more of a, hey, we said you're going to, implement an early talent and you're going to, close the headcount gap. Things that are a bit more higher level, this also works. So whether I was early in my career where I was doing more tactical things to all the way up when I was more in a leadership role and driving change and trying to drive different results. So it's very powerful. I'm going to break it down, like I said, into 3 simple steps, and then hopefully you guys can benefit from it too. So my last deliverable I wanted to work on was a marketing plan for coaching. And I would say in this area, I am failing fast, but I'm also learning. I think one big theme as I was going out and attending some networking events is that my product, I am unclear as to what I'm trying to sell. So, and that is consistent across the board. I even got so in SCORE, there's an organization called SCORE that helps small businesses by providing mentors to you. So even when I had a session with a mentor that surprisingly and fortunately actually came from my past. So I was AIG, who was a leader in one of the business lines. And he was like, I'm not sure what you're selling. Do you have a product? So it was really, I think, good feedback to have just somebody totally random looking at it and just tell me it's not clear. And I think it's because I have all these ideas, I have all these things, and it's a big cobweb in my mind, and I'm trying to put everything out there. So I think one theme that I'm going to work on is just to simplify my message. So if it's for now, if my product is just career coaching, that's what I have to kind of simplify to. So that's what I'm going to work on. The second thing is learning to find a niche. So I've seen this in multiple blogs, even before as I was researching to start a business, is to define a specific niche. I'll be honest, I'm just struggling with this one. Mainly because I'm not sure who exactly I'm targeting. And of course, in the marketing scheme and the marketing concepts, that's usually not the recommended way or not the path they say it's all about target market, right? And segment and customer segmentation. So I am still struggling, but I'm working. I think I'm getting closer to it. But that is something that also will help clarify the first bullet point. Now, the last one I would say is definitely mental roadblocks, self-reflection, a little bit here for me, that there is fear. I am afraid of failing, even though it's really far out. There's a bit of, why am I doing this? There's a lot of probably imposter syndrome, right? At first, I was very excited and all that, but there's still fear. In fact, so much so that I'm like, oh, maybe I won't do the mini course, or I wanted to run away. I wanted to drop this project. But instead, I think I'm going to try to find the right pace. I do think that in reflecting that I jumped into this really quickly and I'm still riding off the pace. I think I was in my last position, and typically without me knowing, it's quite fast. So even when I was talking to my husband this past weekend, he's actually training for his next half marathon in this coming up weekend. And he talked about how he struggles with kind of staying in that zone 2, zone 3. So there's five zones when you're working out. And he tends to like to go to zone 4 and 5. But when you're doing a half or a full marathon for him, he was saying, not that I run or anything like that, it is about staying in zone 2 and 3 so you can have enough energy to run the rest of the way. So it's not really a sprint that you're trying to get. That's our zone 4 and 5. And when he said that, either that or he's in zone 1 where he's just kind of chilling. And that doesn't help either because he has to finish within a certain time. So I thought it was a great analogy for me. I think I'm so used to running and delivering at a zone 4, zone 5. I don't really know how to pace it at a zone 2 or 3. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to enjoy the moment. Fortunately for me, I am, at least for the rest of the year, I'm not looking to make a high, level of income or anything that I'm financially prepared to even take a break if I wanted to. But I do want to kind of I don't want to lose, I don't want to say momentum or kind of lose pace. I just want to keep it at a comfortable pace where there's still a lot of things I haven't taken care of in my own personal life, just working in the corporate world for 18 years, things like like a trust and will. I'm almost ashamed to say that. My son's almost 15 this year, and I don't even have that taken care of. So there's a lot of things personally that I want to explore or want to maybe even declutter my life a little bit. So I want to maintain a comfortable pace and not an aggressive one, so that so that I don't have to feel like I'm dumping everything into here just to be also in face of failure, because I think it's just going to take time and I want to enjoy it. So that's what I've gotten so far as my marketing plan. It's really getting that feedback and really learning how to simplify and clarify my message. So with that said, what's ready for release tomorrow? I will write a new newsletter edition on LinkedIn, and then my next sprint in sprint two, I'm going to target on simplifying my business website. I might even try out a different site just because now that I'm trying out my second course, I might migrate everything. I haven't decided yet. But either way, I'm going to simplify my website to make it more about career coaching or focus on the products that I am working on now instead of kind of the big picture. And then I also want to build out the course content. So I showed the lesson plan earlier. I'm going to fill out with content. If I can, I would try to record it. If not, I'm not going to, aggressively push myself too much. But the goal is at least to finish the content in the next sprint. So that is all I have. To summarize sprint one, my sprint two schedule looks like this. It starts right after my release tomorrow. It will be in the 5th, and I'll come back with an update on September 17th on Tuesday, and then a Wednesday release. So whatever I finish, I will release it out with a new newsletter edition, or if I do have a video, I'll also share that on YouTube as well. So thank you for those that have been following. Feel free to leave a message or say hi in the chat. I figured out how to turn that on so I can see it live. But even then, if you're watching it past, feel free to read the newsletter if you prefer reading it, or even go look past in the last few episodes. They are all listed out into a playlist on YouTube. So thank you for listening.